Awesome. Brian, we're going to close out today talking about the supplemental tax bill here in the county of San Diego. This is more of an informative piece because we're at that time of the year. We just passed the tax deadline with the IRS. And so this is also a time for us to talk about tax-related issues. So we're going to do this kind of quickly because I want it to mostly be informative. There's not a lot of opinion here.
You know, I have a example. Literally, I got a call this last week from one of my clients. He purchased back in 2022. And he gave me a call. He's like, hey, my mortgage payment went up. And then we started dissecting everything. Insurance didn't change. Okay, obviously your loan didn't change. That's 30 years fixed. But what we realized is that his property taxes got reassessed. And when that happens, obviously your property taxes go up, and somehow, some way, like, it needs to get paid. So what we notice is that, you know, every so often when you purchase your house, some years down the line, and I'm not sure exactly how many years down the line, but they'll do a reassessment, and I'll verify that. They'll do a reassessment of the property because, you know, the previous owners had a different value from what you purchased. So once that value is now verified and updated, there's going to be a new, fee that comes along with it. So that's one of the reasons that, you know, payments are increasing.
Yeah. So we're gonna explain to people who don't know what the Supplemental Property Tax Bill is. And this is when someone buys a home or they make major upgrades or additions or increase the footprint of the home, the county assessor reevaluates the assessment. This is not an appraisal. It's their assessment of the property's value. Now, that new assessed value is usually higher than what you had either had on your property before you built extra or at the time that the old seller sold to you and transferred title to you. So what it's basically is like a catch-up bill.
Yeah.
Because let's say in this example, I bought a house in 1990. Brian buys it from me in 2025. Well, my tax rate from 1990 is the closing tax rate at the time he closes. But then in 2025, they're going to, a couple weeks or a couple months later, the county tax assessors go, oh, we see here that that house was sold. We need to reassess it. So they're going to reassess it in the current year's assessed value, which is going to be much higher than back in 1990 when I had bought that house. That results in the supplemental tax bill being sent to Brian that you either have to pay out of pocket or one time, and then it eventually will make its way into your escrow fund when you're making your mortgage plus taxes and insurance together and every monthly payments. But you need to be aware that this is going to happen. The amount of your county taxes at closing is based on the seller's tax rate. Your reassessed tax rate will show up weeks or months later, and we're in a season right now where these supplemental tax bills are going out because the county has a long line of them to get to. So if you're closing in April 2025, expect by May, June, maybe even July, possibly longer, depending on volume, you're going to get a supplemental tax bill in the mail.
So, Andy, basically to cut it short, if you received a green bill by the property tax office, you have to pay it. And if you're not sure how you should pay it, contact your local loan officer and have them explain what your options are. You have an extra account. Sometimes that's able to cover it, but you are 100% responsible for it. Make sure you get that paid.
Yeah. Expect that it's going to come in the mail and also pay it. So basically, plan for it. Start saving some money. Stash it aside because you're going to end up paying that tax bill, and then it'll eventually be folded into your impound account when you're making the payment.
And it never fails that we always equip our clients with that information and let them know, hey, down the line, you're going to give me a call. You're going to say, hey, Brian, what is this bill for? They're charging me X amount. And we're going to remember the conversation and say, hey, remember they're going to send you that supplemental one-time payment. You have to take care of it. That's what it is.
And I should probably, I'm thinking about wrapping up, and I'm thinking I should probably clarify my statement a little bit. Like when we close a loan for somebody, we're estimating what the property tax bill will be. It's not based on the seller's actual tax bill. The seller's tax rate of 1% plus, meaning the local bond measures and the other things that are baked into the tax, that's the calculatable part based on your new sales price. Mm-hmm. So that amount that's being received in your escrow is not always going to just be the seller. So I wanted to clarify that. I'm sorry. I realized I said that confusing earlier. So when we were closing your loan, your tax amount is going to be our estimate based off the percentage of tax being paid connected to that property, not the seller's actual total.
Yeah. And one last closing thought. If you inherited a property or your parents are signing over a property to you, be very cautious that that's going to trigger a reassessment. Just because you didn't buy it, you're changing ownerships, and therefore that triggers a reassessment as well.
Yeah, there's a way to reassess basis at time of death when
Yeah.
someone dies, and you inherit when you earn a property, when you inherit a property.
Whoa.
So there's a couple of other scenarios that would generate a supplemental tax bill, but broadly, the majority of the times is you bought a house in 2024 or you're buying a house in 2025. That bill's going to show up. You can always call Brian or Will, and you can talk to our loan officer if we've done your loan. If not, reach out to your company that's collecting your payment, the mortgage servicer, talk to them about it, and make sure that moving forward, they're going to collect the right tax amount so that you don't have additional bills coming in for any shortage or deficiencies.
That's right.